Hey there. Today we're going to learn how to measure the perimeter of a rectangle or a square. And when I'm referring to the perimeter of an object, I'm referring to the distance that goes around the outside of the object. So how long is the outside of the object? In order to find the perimeter of this object, I need to know two different things. I need to know the length of the object, and I need to know the width of the object, or how wide that object is, how long and how wide the object is. And those are both represented with variables. The variable for length is a cursive letter L that looks like that. And the variable for width is just a W. And typically the lengths and the widths are usually provided for the object, and sometimes they're not, and we'll do another video on how to find it when they're not. But for today's lesson, we're just going to have the length and the width provided for us. So we'll say that the length of this object is equal to 7, and the width of this object is equal to 3. Now, those could be any type of measurement units. It could be 7 inches, it could be 7 feet, it could be 7 meters, it could be 7 millimeters. Today, we'll just say that there are units of measurement, but they might be a specific form of measurement in problems that you'll see in the future. And what we know about a rectangle or a square is that we know that the opposite sides are equal. So the side that's opposite of this length of 7 down here would also be equal to 7 units. And the width on the opposite side over here would be still equal to 3 as well. So we have the two widths and the two lengths. We have the measurements for all of the sides of our object, and now we're ready to find the perimeter. Finding the perimeter can be used, or you can find the perimeter using one of 3 different formulas. We'll try examples of all 3 of them. The first is probably the easiest to remember, and I'm simply just going to add the lengths all together. So I need to remember that I'm adding 2 lengths and 2 widths. If I only added 7 plus 3, I'd only have the perimeter of half of the object. But if I want to include this side and this side in my formula would look like this: length plus width plus length plus width. So again, I'm simply just adding all of these sides together. So 7 plus 7 gives me 14, plus 3 gives me 17, plus 3 more gives me 20. So I would say that the perimeter of this object is equal to 20 units. Maybe it's feet, inches, millimeters, but the perimeter is equal to 20. Another formula that I could use to solve this perimeter problem is by simply multiplying the length and the width by 2 each. So I could say length times 2 plus width times 2. And that one looks a little bit different. I'm just going to plug in my length and my width into this formula and work it out. So my length is 7, so I would do 7 times 2 plus my width, which was 3 times 2 as well. And now when I multiply these together, I get 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3 times 2, which is 6. And then again, 14 plus 6 is going to give me 20 units. So I still found the perimeter using this formula as well. And there's one other formula, and it's probably my favorite because it's the easiest one, the one that requires the least amount of steps in order to solve. And that's where I'm just going to add the length and the width and then multiply that by 2. So in this case, here I have 7 plus 3 which would give me 10, times 2 would give me 20. So again, I still get the same perimeter using a different formula. So any of these three formulas will help you solve your perimeter problems. We'll do a few examples that use each one of those different formulas. Let's say we were talking about an object that had a length of 12 feet and a width of 4 feet. Going with this first formula right here, I'm simply going to add all of the lengths and all of the widths together. So that would be 12 plus 12, which would give me 24, plus 4 would give me 28, plus 4 again would give me 32. So I would say that the perimeter of this object is 32 feet. Let's try another example. In this example, we use the second formula to help us solve it. This rectangle, we will say, is 8 inches by 5 inches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the length and I'm going to plug it in right here. So 8 times 2 plus, I'm going to take the width and plug that in right there, 5 times 2. And then I'm going to solve both of these problems separately. So 8 times 2 gives me 16, plus 5 times 2, which gives me 10. 16 plus 10 gives me 26 inches. So my perimeter would be equal to 26 inches. And we'll do one more example. In this example, we will use the third formula. And again, I can use any of these formulas on any perimeter problem, and they will all give me the same answer. It really just depends on which one you would prefer to use. If it's easier for you to just remember adding all the sides together, then use that one. If it's easier for you to remember to add the two sides together and multiply by 2, use that one. Whatever method works best for you. This one will say 9 feet by 7 feet. So for this one, we're going to use the third formula, length plus width times 2. And then I'm just going to plug in my numbers that I have. So I know that the length is 9 feet, plus the width, which is 7 feet, and then I'm going to multiply that answer by 2. 9 plus 7 gives me 16. And if I multiplied 16 by 2, 2 times 6 is 32, or excuse me, is 12. And 2 times 1 plus 1 is 3. So my perimeter would equal 32 feet. And again, any of these formulas will get you the same answer. If I wanted to just add all of the sides together, I could do that as well. 9 plus 9 plus 7 plus 7. 9 plus 9 gives me 18. 18 plus 7, 25. 25 plus 7 would give me 32. So I still get the same answer here. Or if I multiplied each of those by 2, right? 9 times 2 gives me 18. 7 times 2 gives me 14. And when I add 18 plus 14, I still come up with the number 32. So several different methods of solving perimeter formulas.